Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Ubaidullah Khan and I'm the Prayer Services Director for the 2013-2014 year. The Prayer Services Directorship is actually one of the backbones of the MSA in the sense that prayer is something that all the Muslims should be doing every single day, 5 times a day. So the role of the Prayer Services Directorship is multifaceted. What you have to do is to make sure that the MSA office is maintained so that Muslims can come in, pray, so that the area is always maintained, it's clean. A second goal is to make sure that Jum'ahs are happening every single week on campus. So this involves the actual setup and the takedown of the Jum'ah, and it also involves making sure that you have khatibs every single week that can be there to do the khutbah itself. So in terms of the actual commitment, it will require about 3 to 4 hours every week. Most of that time will be spent on the day of Jum'ah and just doing the Jum'ah preparation. For the other roles which involve khatib training as well as maintaining the MSA office, both of these will require a bit less time. So as I mentioned, we are having khatib training. So khatib training is also one of the roles that the Prayer Services Directorship has to do. So for khatib training, it will be a bi-weekly class that you will have to host and you have to teach. And not necessarily teach, you can also ask someone else to teach it, do the fiqh, and do several other practices with aspiring khatibs. And that by itself will not require as much commitment on your part, it doesn't have to. And in fact, it affects, I'm trying to do something this year, efforts are underway to make sure that the Prayer Services Directorship is a bit more sustainable in the sense that you won't have to do the khatib training yourselves. So it involves multiple things. And for many of these roles that I mentioned, you will have to have volunteers. And if you have a set number of volunteers, the actual pressure on you is very little. So you'll find that one of the best things about the Prayer Service Directorship is that many people want to volunteer, they want to help you out, and that by itself is not going to be too much trouble. And that's mainly what it requires. In terms of the skills that you need, you will have to have leadership skills to make sure that you can set up and take down the Jumu'ah equipment, because you will have to be working with a lot of volunteers. It will also involve time management on your part, because with the MSA office especially, you'll find that it gets dirty very soon, and you have to make sure that things are being done very quickly and that you're always keeping on top of your tasks in that sense. And in general, the good thing with the Prayer Services Directorship is that once all the work is done by the volunteers, you will have a lot of time for yourself, and you'll be able to volunteer with other directorships if you so wish, or you can focus on school. And that's mainly what it requires. All the best for your application. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me or contact myself. Prayer services at MacMSA.com, prayer.services@macmsa.com.